I had a VIP tour of the new Harry Potter land in Epic Universe, including the Ministry of Magic ride. And then we got a VIP tour of the older Harry Potter areas too, with Hogsmeade and Hogwarts Castle, Diagon Alley and Gringotts. You could say this was a magical trip. This was all part of the most incredible trip with Universal, celebrating the launch of Halloween Horror Nights 2025, and I am going to bring you along with me, like I'm a Weasley crashing into your window with a flying car. So first of all, I had to wake up at 4:30 AM to drive to the airport. No flying Ford Anglia this time. It sounds horrible getting up that early, but this trip was absolutely worth it. I met up with the rest of the group from the trip and we set off to Orlando. And you guys, this was the most insane flying experience. The staff at Virgin Atlantic gave us premium seating. This is like the most legroom I've ever had on a flight. The food and drink were amazing, and I watched the entirety of season 1 of The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I think is a great use of 9 hours. Apparently, it might change later, but so far I am Team Jeremiah. Not sure why anybody would prefer Comrade. Anyway, I digress. After we arrived, we checked into the gorgeous Sapphire Falls Hotel. I had 2 beds all to myself, one for me, and one for my suitcase. You can't say I don't treat my guests well. Anyway, after a nice evening getting to know the rest of the group and exploring the hotel, I had a very jet-lagged sleep before moving on to a full day at Epic Universe, the brand new theme park from Universal. You guys, I have been so excited for this park since it was first announced years ago, and the fact that I finally got to visit is mind-blowing. And let me tell you, this park lives up to the hype, okay? It exceeds the hype. It's so far past the hype is a dot to this park. Points if you understood the Friends reference. So Universal was so generous, and they gave us this VIP tour package, meaning we had a wonderful tour guide to take us around, to look at all of the lands, to go on all of the rides. We got to skip the lines and try some incredible food and drinks. We were absolutely spoiled. I felt like I had taken liquid luck. So first we stepped into Super Nintendo Land, which was so vibrant, so fun. It literally feels like stepping into the video games, which is the point, I know. Speaking of games though, I got the highest score of the group on the Mario Kart ride. Not to brag, but absolutely to brag. Which is funny because typically I am dreadful at video games and at driving. Then we went to the Isle of Berk for How to Train Your Dragon, which I had only seen for the first time a few months ago, and I absolutely loved it. So stepping into this world, seeing it brought to life, it was incredible. There was this amazing roller coaster as well, which was so much fun. No Hungarian horntails though. Weird. Next, we had some incredible food in the Atlantic restaurant before we headed over to Dark Universe, which had some of the best theming I have ever seen in a park. Honestly, it felt like I stepped into a Brothers Grimm story or something. The Monsters Unleashed ride here, like, it's so good. The animatronics, the immersion, unreal. I could ride this over and over all day, though I might get a little bit motion sick. The actors walking around in this area of the park was so fun as well. I think this might have been my favorite world in the park so far, because then it was over to Wizarding Paris, and honestly, you guys, the scale of this place. Like, I have been to Paris a few times, and it genuinely felt like walking down a Parisian street, just with magic. And look, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Fantastic Beasts, but that is neither here nor there when you step into this land, because it's just incredible. It's so immersive. The shops and the props and the food on offer. Our guide actually said that the tallest building in Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley from the other parks aren't even as tall as the smallest building in this section. How wild is that? That's how big this is. Anyway, this was the last stop of the tour, so unfortunately we were running pretty low on time. We didn't get to explore too much. I would have liked a butterbeer crepe, but we didn't have time. And honestly, I'm lactose intolerant, so it's probably for the best, but I am definitely going to come back and my body will pay the price because I am having that crepe, okay? So we stepped through the Floo Network in the Battle of the Ministry of Magic, which is so cool to do, and then you step into the Ministry, and I cannot explain to you the scale of this. Like, the green tiles, the way it towers up to the skies, the banners and the statues, it felt like stepping into the Order of the Phoenix movie. I could have cried. It was breathtaking. But I didn't cry because I was raised to be stoic and shun my emotions around other people. I'm in therapy to work on that, guys, don't worry. So we went on the ride. It was really good fun, although it did hit some technical difficulties while we were halfway around, which kind of pulled you from the immersion. Still good though, and honestly, even if this wasn't a ride and you could just walk around the Ministry atrium, I would have loved it. So then, after a thunderstorm passed and we took cover in a restaurant for a couple of hours, we got to explore the park at night. And of course, Dark Universe is the perfect land to explore after sunset, particularly because one of their buildings literally catches on fire. I didn't realize they were giving us the Burrow from the 6th Harry Potter movie. I'm still annoyed about that, right? It doesn't happen in the books. The burrow doesn't burn down. But you guys, okay, epic universe. It lives up to the hype. I want to live here. It's so mind-blowing. Honestly, it's everything I wanted it to be. It's well worth the wait, well worth the hype. If you saw my London vlog, you know we measure quality on this channel with Bretts, and Epic Universe gets 5 Bretts out of 5. It was everything I wanted it to be. Now we're on to the next day, Halloween Horror Nights Day. But first, a relaxing day at the water park Volcano Bay. I love this park, you guys. It's so tranquil, but I took it very easy, so I didn't film very much. So just take my word for it. We relaxed, just lulling our bodies into a false sense of security before we put it through the ringer with Halloween Horror Nights. Just a quick warning, this footage may well contain flashing lights and some scary sights. That's not a bit of you, skip forward, there will be chapter markers down in the timeline. So look, you guys, Halloween Horror Nights is one of my favorite events ever. Like, I love Halloween, I love horror movies, but like, Danny is not a big horror girl, so I rarely get to dive into it, so at this event, I fill my boots. So first we went to this incredible banquet, right, with all this specialty food from the event, and it was so good. And then they got some of the masterminds behind the event out on stage to talk to us about the theming and the concepts and how you bring an event like this to life, or to death, if you know what I mean. And then we were let loose on the park, and as part of the RIP tour, they make sure you get into all 10 houses. So there is a house where you are essentially dead in your grave, and it explores what happens to your body next. That was terrifying. A Jason Universe house from Friday the 13th, which was so scary. It had the scariest section of the entire event. Just a corridor where Jason after Jason jumps out at you. There was this Five Nights at Freddy's house with the most incredible animatronics. A Fallout house with amazing theming, and genuinely it felt like you were diving into the game or the show. And a WWE house, which was so fun. I was so excited about it, and it did not disappoint. There was a haunted house which literally built a mansion inside that you could explore and walk around. It had its own courtyard. That's how big it was, and it was gorgeous. And there are a bunch of others too. But Horror Nights is not just about the haunted houses. Oh no, they scare you in other ways too. Walking around the park, there are these scare zones with scare actors who like lunge at you. They try to unsettle you. Some of them are vampires. Some were cat people, kind of like that scene from the Chamber of Secrets. Some were panicking, infected people. There were roller skating zombies outside of the diner, specialty drinks, an incredible DJ dance area, because when there are creatures trying to kill you from all angles, you need to take a break for a dance. And then it was my favorite part of Halloween Horror Nights, this incredible next level show that's like circus themed. So there are acrobatics and contortionists and aerial stars. There is fire and dancing. It's amazing. If you are visiting, please come and catch this. It's like equal parts scary and sexy, and somehow that sounds weird, but it works. Kind of like Helena Bonham Carter's Bellatrix, right? No, just me? Anyway, we got back to the hotel after Halloween Horror Nights at around 2:30 a.m. and it was worth every second. We were exhausted the next day, but this gets 5 Bretts out of 5. Another fantastic night. So about 4 hours of sleep later, we headed to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Again, we were lucky enough to get a VIP tour to take us around. And guys, this feels like coming home. I love these parks so much. Every time I step into Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, it just takes my breath away. Seeing the castle, seeing Gringotts, riding the rides, going on the Mummy, and there's this incredible Wicked experience, so I got to embrace my inner Galinda. We also went to the super fun horror makeup show. Shu from our group was pulled up as a volunteer, and it was so funny. It was so good. This day was 4 out of 5 Bretts, not because it was any worse than the others. I was just running on fumes at this point. And then the trip ended with some authentic British weather in Hogsmeade before I went to meet Danny, who had flown in to meet me. We're going to hang around for a couple of weeks and have a little holiday of our own, but if you want a vlog of our trip together, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see us visiting London and watching Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on the West End, you can check out this video next.